Hello, my name is Christina. I love to salvage, repurpose, and create, and I also have a booth at Plaza Antiques and Collectibles Mall in Lincoln Park since 2015. Now, since I went to school to become a middle school science teacher, when I started my booth, I really had no clue of what I was doing, and I've learned so many things along the way thanks to all of my good friends. And many of you have told me you love me sharing what I know about owning a booth. So today I have a few things on my mind I thought I would share with you. Some of them are repeats from some previous videos, but sometimes we need to hear things over and over again just so we remember to do them, because I bet there are some things I'm gonna say you've heard before, but you need a little reminder. So let's get started. First off, it is summer. Let me just tell you the little thing to remember is months that start with a J are usually slow. So that's June, July, and January is usually slow too, although there's always exceptions to the rule. Also, prices are going up everywhere on everything, and I'm sure you already know this, but even for me, prices are going up on rent at my booth space. So that's a big deal. That's something to consider. We need to make more money, right? So with the combination of the J months and things are just kind of slowing their pace down and prices increasing everywhere and booth rent in my case, how are you going to stay ahead? Well, I have some things I've learned. First, I want to talk about smalls, and that is like a booth owner's term as far as I know, and those are the tiny things in your booth. Not the furniture, not the big stuff, it's the small stuff. And frankly, if you don't have it in your booth, you probably won't make the rent. My first booth in 2015, I thought I was a furniture person, so I just had furniture. I really didn't have too many smalls, and you know what? Those first few months, I really didn't make my rent until I got a little nudge from a friend who said, smalls make the rent. And they do. Put them in, you never know what will sell. The more you have, the more you can make. And it's a fine line between junky and just enough. But I found out something a little bit unique, and maybe many of you already know this, and that is we're gonna talk about the very smalls. The super tiny things, the things that normally you don't have time to package up. There's a dealer at my booth that just brought in tons of marbles, and he was packaging them up into Ziploc bags because marbles, old marbles are hot, they're gonna sell. So that's an example of very smalls. One of my very smalls right now are those little Wade figurines. I just got a whole bunch of them for free, a whole bunch. Like, what the heck? Let's price them, let's put them in. Now, normally, pricing little tiny things individually takes time, and it's probably a job you put off. So maybe like me, I had put the Wades like off to the side, and I didn't get to them. Well, you know what? Since I've put them into my booth, I sell a couple every day. I'm not kidding you. Or every other day. But I'm making some really good money on some super tiny things. It's just little money, but hey, it's money. And right now it is helping. Some of the other very small items are, I have hardware, I have jewelry, and I'm taking some time right now because things are slow, and I'm pricing those and I'm putting those in my booth, and those are helping to balance out my sales. Because as I was told by another booth owner when I first got started, don't forget to have a wide variety of prices in your booth. Everybody has $5 to spend. And if it's tiny, they can't have the excuse, oh, I have nowhere to put it. So people are much more likely to buy inexpensive, tiny items. So if you don't have the very smalls, get on it. I bet you have a box of them somewhere you were gonna price when you had some time. Probably now you have the time. So just a friendly reminder. I also just want to ask a favor. If you have not clicked the like button and subscribed, I would really appreciate it. It costs no money to you. It is completely free. Also, if you click the bell for notifications, you'll be notified every time I put up a new video. It really helps me to continue to grow my channel to help others to salvage, repurpose, and create. When times are slow, you probably shouldn't be buying a lot of new inventory. It's self-explanatory, but it's a lot of fun to go shopping for that new inventory. I totally get it. You get a rush, you get a thrill. And right now in summer, it is the prime time, garage sales and flea markets and all of the great places to get some really good deals. I understand you might have to buy some items. Some people tell me who are dealers that they pretty much stock their booth from the year from the items that they get during garage sales and flea markets when prices are very low. And if that's you and it works for you, go ahead. You might not want to listen to this part, but for me, I try to always remember when times are slow not to buy new inventory. I try to get creative. Let me just share with you some of the things that I'm doing to get creative. One is I am going to have on my online sale, which is coming up the second Monday in July, I am going to have a Christmas in July sale. Why not? I have Christmas items. I need to sell them, and Christmas in July is a thing. Also, since not many other people are selling Christmas in July, although some are picking up on it, you can usually sell a lot of items. I have a dealer at Plaza Antiques who's had Christmas items in their booth since forever. They keep them in there all year long. You know what? They have sold out a ton and they sell Christmas all year long. If you have a lot of Christmas stuff, maybe you want to have a Christmas section or area in your booth all year long. Now, this kind of piggybacks on that idea is seasonal items. I don't know about you, but maybe you've seen my video where I show you how I organize my basement for my booth, especially with seasonal items. Well, I have boxes there, and there are boxes for fall, and there's boxes for Valentine's, and there's boxes for Christmas. You get it? And sometimes in those boxes, I'll put seasonal items because they kind of make me feel like the season, maybe their color, or in my fall boxes, I know I have tons of like wood bowls. Well, guess what? In my area, wood bowls are selling really well. There's actually a pretty big demand, this whole cottage core thing. So I went to my fall boxes and I got out a whole bunch of stuff. And while I was down there, I not only got out things that were in my seasonal boxes that really weren't that season, but I also found 2 boxes of things that I had already packed up and priced and never took into Plaza Antiques. So by doing this, I got about 4 boxes of things. I also got some projects that need a little help and a little work that I'm going to get to. That was all free, well, kind of free inventory. It was all inventory, was just sitting there. Remember, it's not going to make you money if it's just sitting in your home, your basement, or your garage. You have to price it and you have to bring it in. And you have to make the effort to do that. You have to make yourself like a date on the calendar or a time, or just reward yourself with a cookie once you get it done. Whatever you need to do, you got to get those items into your booth to make the money. You want to think off season. If you have storage boxes, maybe go through those. Maybe there's things that aren't really that season that you could bring in because now those things are popular. Maybe you're going to have a Christmas in July sale. And maybe like me, you'll find things you should have brought in a long time ago. They were even priced and put in a box. The next tip is something I'm always saying because it is true. It is so true. In fact, I just experienced it myself. If times are slow and you have some time, you need to make your booth pretty. Maybe reorganize it. Maybe just move some stuff around. Whatever you need to do, you need to be doing it. If you're like, times are slow, what can I do for my business? I hope you have like business working hours, like certain amount of time you set aside for your booth. And if you're just twiddling your thumbs and you don't have anything to do during that time, go to the mall and move some stuff around. Build new displays, reorganize it, whatever you need to do. I recently spent a whole bunch of time in my booth doing exactly that. In fact, I didn't really bring in any items. So I took a few items out, but I mostly just moved stuff around. One of the things I moved around was a china cabinet that's just been sitting in my booth, and it has some issues. So I think that's why it was sitting. It didn't have hardware. The doors have some issues, but remember, in my booth, I have what's called a project shop. And so this was in that area for somebody to, have it as a nice little project to work on. There weren't too many things wrong with it, but I thought it needed to be in that area. And I wasn't really using it for display or anything. Well, when I was in my booth, I was like, you know what? That's been sitting there. I really need some more storage, so I'm gonna make it pretty. And I decorated it and I staged it and I set it all up, and it literally sold the next day. Because look, it looks pretty, right? That makes the difference. If you show your customers how pretty things can be, they're gonna go, I want that in my house. Don't just throw some of the pieces off in the corner. I honestly thought to myself originally, I don't think anyone's gonna want this. This needs some work. And I had all these excuses. And that's why I just kind of closed it and threw it in the corner. When I opened it up and I staged it, it made all the difference in the world. So go to your booth, make it pretty. Make it look like a beautiful home that people can walk into and see things set up, because then they're gonna say, hey, I want that for my house. Another thing we should probably touch on is reevaluate and pivot at this time of year. Maybe you've never had time to do a website or get started with social media. If you need tips and tricks, by the way, you can click on the link to the video above. I give a lot of helpful hints on how to get started with social media. If you've not already done so, it's free advertising. Maybe right now, when you have the time, you can take advantage of it to help grow your business. In fact, when this airs, Art at Plaza will have already taken place, but hopefully we'll be having more events like this in the future. So if you're local, seeing this video going, darn, just go on my website, make sure you sign up for my newsletter so you don't miss out on all the cool stuff we're going to be having. I'm also working on an online class, a painting class for people that can't attend and learn how to paint furniture in person. So all of these things I'm doing because things are a little bit slower and I have a little bit more time. And then these are things that are only going to help me and my business grow, because this workshop, people are bringing friends. That's going to get the word out about Plaza Antiques and what a great place it is, and hopefully it'll bring in more customers as the year goes on. I saved the best for last, and really, when a dealer told me this, it completely blew my mind because I never thought about it. So many of you are always asking me, well, how do you price stuff? And of course, because I'm in a different area than most of you, prices in different areas are very different. Even in Michigan, in different parts of Michigan, the prices for antiques and collectibles and home goods varies greatly depending on where you're located. Also, what's popular here might not be popular by you, but in general, my rule is whatever I buy an item for, I think of the 3 to 5 times rule. And I like to price it up 3 to 5 times whatever the original cost of that item was. Obviously, the more I can price it up, the better, because the more profit. Of course, there's a lot of factors like, is that even a reasonable price for that item? Will the market sustain that? Will customers buy that? What are other people in the mall pricing similar items for? All of those things factor in. But really aiming for at least 3 times will be a good thing to get you started. And of course, if you can go higher, that's good too. But when I was talking to this dealer about the recent rent increases, it was very interesting to me to hear about that they always think whatever their booth rent is, they aim for 3 times that booth rent. And I really think that's a good goal. And I think a lot of people really consider pricing and how many more times what I pay I should price a piece. But I don't know if they think about rent costs and how much more times my rent should I make to be comfortable. So that's just something to think about. Like I said, it's totally blown my mind. So if your rent goes up like $20, then they want to make like $60 more that month. And how can they do that? And then they try to figure that out. It's something to think about. I hope you found all of this helpful. Let me know if you have more tips and tricks or things that you do in summer or right now as all of prices are increasing to help your business and to help it grow. I'm always learning so much from all of you. I hope this has been helpful to you. I hope if you are in a season where you want to grow your business, you're taking advantage of the slow times. I do also want to put a little note in that there is a season for everything. And sometimes as a booth owner, you need to just kind of kick back and enjoy your summer, or you need to slow down. If you're in that season, I hope this video is not pressuring you or making you feel uncomfortable. Instead, perhaps you're filing it away for when you're able to get back into things. Thank you so much for watching. Now get out there to salvage, repurpose, and create and make more money in your booth. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips and tricks for owning a booth, my booth owners group is now open. It only opens twice a year. It is a Facebook paid membership group. For more information, go to my website at shoptheturnedleg.com. I'd love to have you.